followed by some stretching to get the upper back to extend, the hip flexors to extend, and hopefully some rotation if we have time. You do need a fair amount of props today. So we'll start with the foam roller. We need a bench, chair, couch, something that you can put your elbows and your foot on for various things. A dowel, PVC pipe, broomstick, Swiffer stick, whatever you got. And then a small weight, not the biggest deal if you don't have this. You can totally, this is probably the least important. And if you don't have that, maybe a yoga block could be a substitute. So I'll give you some options along the way. So no matter what you have, you can do this class. Okay, so let's start with foam rolling. If you don't have a foam roller, go on Amazon right now and buy yourself one. So let's get started with some super basic rolling up and down. Give yourself a nice massage all the way through your spine. So I often have the question of how far can you foam roll? And my answer is as long as it doesn't hurt, feel free to foam away. So if you have a light to medium density, this is standard density foam roller, I foam roll like all the way into my lower back if doesn't hurt. If you have like a PVC pipe that you're using and it hurts your lower back, don't do that. That would be silly. But if it feels good, there's no reason why you can't do it. That whole thing of not foam rolling over bones is ridiculous. Just go with what feels good. Okay, let's pivot to one side of your spine, roll up and down to get the big meaty chunk along your spine, your big paraspinal muscles. Whew. And again, you can go all the way into your lower back if it feels good. You can use your arm if you want to give it a little bit of support. The only caveat here is just to be nice to the base of your ribs. So as you're rolling from the pelvis up to your ribs, especially if you roll to the side, don't jam into your ribs. There's a little floaty rib down there that would get a little bit jammed up. It's not going to be happy about it. All right, same thing on the other side. Up and down. Make sure you're breathing and you're supporting your head with your hands so that your neck can relax. Even like give your neck a little tractioning along the back. So the back of your neck is long. And I do feel a little work in the front of my neck in a healthy way to help to assist my hands in holding my head up. All right. Roll to your side. Let's get the side of your ribs. So I use my legs and my shoulder to propel me up and down. And then I usually find for me a rib that's a little bit stiff and janky. So if you are like me and you find that, pause on that spot and roll forward and back. Ooh, hurts so good. All right, and then we're gonna go up into the armpit and then roll back onto your lat. You can just do a little oscillation there. You may just prefer to just hang out and oscillate. Another option is to stop, just put the body weight through your shoulder to mash that muscle. Then you can rotate your arm, reach it to get a bit more of a stretch. So you're pinning the lat and then stretching the arm. Ooh, my favorite. Okay, same thing on the other side, guys. Roll up and down the ribs. All right, how does this side feel in comparison? So hold there, maybe roll forward and back if you find a stiff spot, stiff rib. And then we'll head up into the armpit next, get to your big meaty lats, the back of that rotator cuff. So you can oscillate once you find that big meaty section. Keep on breathing. And then if you like, come to a stop. Let the weight of your shoulders press into that muscle. Let gravity do its work. Then reach and or rotate that arm so that feels good. You can play around with exactly the angle that you reach to find the best spot. This is my best spot right here. Ah, okay. Let's do the front of the hips and quads. So come into like a forearm plank with your thighs supported on the roll. And with your arms, just pull your thighs across the roll. Next, rotate your thighs outwards, so you're like a ballerina, and then roll up and down the inner thighs, inner portion of your quads. And then do the opposite, pigeon toe your legs in and roll up and down. So try to internally rotate those hips as best you can. All right, now I'm going to get a little bit fancy and use those three positions in the pattern. You can go neutral, turned out, and turned in. Start neutral, roll up to your knees, push yourself back. Pause, rotate out to hip external rotation, pull yourself forward. Pause, rotate to pigeon-toed, hip internal rotation, and roll back. Neutral, roll, rotate out, roll again, rotate in, and roll forward. So that was the whole pattern. Let's do it one more time. Neutral, roll, rotate out, roll, rotate in, roll, neutral, roll, rotate out, roll again, and last one, rotate in, and finish with one final roll. Whew. All right, just give it an easy pass. Hopefully you made a little progress in reducing the sensitivity of your quads. Find a spot that feels tolerably stiff, not like painful, but that you can kind of hang out on, and pause there. If you haven't already, lift your core a little bit so your lower back isn't feeling compressed in this forearm plank. And then keeping the abs lifted and your lower back elongated, bend one knee and lengthen it back out. Let's alternate sides. So just like we did with the lats, with the reach, we're doing a little bit of pin and stretch, pinning the quad against the foam roll. And then as you bend your knee, hopefully feel a bit of a stretch tensioning sensation. 2 more each side. Check in with those abs in your lower back. Don't let it sink. Last set. Ah. All right, a little bit easier. Bring the roll up to your hips, right at your hip crease, and just give it an easy roll. Should feel pretty, no big deal in comparison. But then roll over about halfway. See if you can get that front pocket area, that little tiny pocket on your jeans. And then if you'd like, just kind of keep rolling around to the side, getting into the glute med area as you get all the way sideways. And then just slowly make your way forward again. Find the path of the meatiness as you go. And then we'll go to side 2. So start off probably pretty easy, no big deal. And then gradually roll about halfway to get that front corner. Ooh, this one feels good for me. Whew. And then keep on oscillating and rotating to the pure side. I'm going between the iliac crest, the very top of my hip, and the hip bone, the greater trochanter. So these meaty muscles there is my target. But feel free to play around, find your best spot. Alrighty. Okay, how do we feel? Let's move along and do put the foam roll away for now. Hopefully we'll come back to it. Start with just a couple easy cat-cows. Round all the way up into a super round cat. Pause there. In this position, we're using the abs to create a rounded spine. So take a deep breath in and then blow all the air out. And as you blow out, emphasize the quality of your exhale to then lift the abs upwards into your body to create a more open lower back. Sometimes I imagine I'm like a dinosaur. I think I might be wrong, but I'm thinking a stegosaurus with like the plates on the back, and you want to open up all your dinosaur plates and make yourself look big. Or like a porcupine, you want to be like really like a scary porcupine, or a cat, like really stand on edge with all your fur and open up as much space as possible. Hopefully you feel your abs by now. Let's accentuate the abs further by driving the hands inwards towards your knees, like you're trying to crunch up your mat. You should feel more work in your abs. Try to keep your abs a bit engaged as you then elongate them as you arch your back into cow. So as your spine goes down, now you should feel like your back muscles are doing more work to press your chest down, but try to keep a little work in your core, even though it's elongated, which is often hard to feel, right? But you never want to just feel like only one side of your body is working, because then we get a little bit compressed in the joints. All right, so now let's accentuate the back muscles. Press your chest down, lift your head, lift your tail, and press your hands away from your knees to feel your spine muscles kind of wake up a little bit more. Whew. All right, now keep those back muscles working. Reverse the curve again, back to cat. Push the ground away, hollow your core against the tension of your spine extensors, your back muscles, and round up, hopefully into an even deeper cat. All right, a little bit faster, but let's repeat that whole process. Lift your core, round your spine so your head is really curling under, your tailbone's curling under. Pull your hands into your knees, find those abs. Reverse, arch your back. The core does not relax as the back muscles now kick in a bit more. Can you press your chest farther down, but keep your elbows straight? Those elbows want to bend, don't they? Don't let that happen. Strong elbows. Chest down, but also chest up, like you're at the front of the Titanic, figurehead on a boat. Can you lift your tailbone a little higher, lift your head a little higher? Ooh. And then relax and breathe. All right, now we're going to go a little deeper into that cat-cow for the upper back. So sit your hips back to a child's pose position and push strong through your arms. Just really strong pillars through your arms and into your shoulders. And let's do the similar cat-cow motion here. And as you're doing this, you can push and pull with your arms. So let's push away into a rounded cat. Think of really hollowing your core. And then pull your arms toward you, which includes shoulder blades down away from your ears, and open that chest forward into a cow-like motion. All right, so you went back and forth. Push and round, hollow your core, open up your spine into a big curve, and then pull, shoulders down, chest forward. Now your hands might be a little closer or farther than mine. Depends on your flexibility and your body proportions. So play around to find a challenging but doable spot for this upper back cat-cow. All right, one more time. Oh, okay, grab your bench, chair, couch, whatever you have available. I'm going to start a little bit on the easy side. I'm going to have my weight nearby. If you don't have a weight, Dowel yoga block stick, even your foam roller would be fine. No big deal. Just something that you can hold in your hands. All right, let's start with your legs supported on whatever surface you have available. And just take a few deep breaths into your lower back. Place your thumbs on the lower back where your ribs meet your lower back. FYI, your ribs you have a lot of ribs. They take up a lot of space. And they go all the way down to where it meets your lower back, nice and low. So put your thumbs there and take a couple deep breaths into your thumbs. Preferably inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth with like a pursed lip, like you're blowing through a straw, blowing up a balloon. And every exhale, Try to allow your lower back to sink deeper into the ground. All right, place your heels, your feet on the chair, bench, box, whatever you have available, and then start to tip your tailbone up so that your lower back is pressing more firmly into the ground, but your pelvis is curling up. And then lengthen your spine, return your pelvis to the floor. Let's do that again. Curl up. I'm pushing my heels into the bench, flattening the lower back, and thinking of creating more space in my lower back so my pelvis can really curl. Something like your hollow body, kipping position, and then sink back down. One more time. Curl up. Try to create more space and lengthen your lower back. Now let's keep going into a bridge. So curl up with your pelvis, peel your spine off the floor, lift your hips all the way up to a bridge. As you come to the top of your bridge, can you keep that lower back long? Because if you have a tight lower back, it's going to want to do this. Tight hip flexors, tight lower back. No, 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 no. Let's not do that. So come on down, start over. Curl in, lengthen that lower back, peel your spine off the floor. As you lift, keep pulling those lower abs in, lengthen the lumbar spine, and press your hips up. Be really honest with yourself. Is there a point where you can't do this anymore? If so, stop and pause, breathe. Just keep working the limits of your mobility versus pushing through it and letting your pelvis tip. Not going to help you. Once you get to wherever you are, just hang out for another breath. Pull the abs up, lengthen the lower back. And then let's start from the top, like where your sternum is, and then press yourself back down to the floor. Meanwhile, keep your hips elevated so that they're reluctantly lowering. The hips are thinking up as your spine is pulling back down. Ooh. All right, let's do this one more time. Breathe. Tip your pelvis, thinking of really sinking my abs into the floor. Lift your hips and peel your spine off the floor. The name of the game is just creating more space in your back. Ooh, hamstrings on fire. Okay, once you get to your top, keep pulling the abs in and try to push the hips up even higher. And then keep pushing the hips up as your spine then pulls back to the ground. That's it. Whew. Right before you get your hips to the ground, feel your abs working. Keep them pulled in. Feel that your ribs are connected to your hip bones. Keep that connection as you sink all the way to the ground. All right, and let's come back to the base of your ribs. I want you to keep your ribs heavy on the ground. You know, like in your push press or the overhead work, handstands, where the ribs want to pop out. This is your time to work on that. Keep pulling the ribs down so that when you do harder things with weight, you can keep those ribs connected to your core. All right, so grab your weight or grab something in your hands. I have an 8-pound weight. You can certainly do something heavier. Lighter is perfectly fine as well. Let's do a couple pullovers. So hold your weight or object over your head, straight arms. The name of the game is keep these ribs down. All right, slowly lower the weight over your head, keeping your ribs connected to the floor. Stop at the point that it feels challenging. This is not competitive. No extra points for hitting the ground. Then come all the way back up. Each time you come to the top, check in with your ribs. Can you press them harder against the floor? Whew. Okay, inhale as you go back. Find that challenging spot. Exhale, pull the core in a little bit more and float your arms back to the top. 4 more. Inhale back, nice and slow. Exhale, deepen your core connection. Pull the arms back up. 3 more. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. One more time, guys. Inhale back. And exhale up. Oh, okay, let's put that down. One more focus on your abs. So pull your core in and plant your hands on the ground. Can you plant your entire forearms, hands, elbows on the ground? And then also widen your collarbone. Press the back of your shoulders into the floor without losing that rib core connection. It could be hard, especially if you're at a desk or at a phone all day. So abs, shoulders, arms, then float one leg up to tabletop. Don't let anything else in your body shift. Add the other leg. Ooh, how does it feel? Can you keep your ribs just as heavy on the floor? Hard, right? All right, arms up overhead. Let's do that. One more arm reach, pull over motion. So reach those arms and just hold there. Whatever place feels good. From here, lengthen the back of your neck, tuck your chin. Imagine someone's grabbing the base of your head and pulling it away from you. And keep nodding your chin down while maintaining the length of the back of your neck and curl up. Use your abs, not your neck. Use your abs to lift your torso off the ground. Hold. Now that you can see your abs, can you tell the abs to pull to the midline and sink deeper? If your abs are like doming up and making a mountain, then you're not doing it right. Let's chat. Send me a message. We'll talk about it. All right, come back down. Whew, that was easy. Keep your arms here. That was really hard when we reach up or forward, so it's not quite so challenging for your neck. So I'll demonstrate that one. Lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale, pull your core in, and the core is going to connect to your ribs to lift your upper half. Hold. Whew. All right, no matter where your arms are, bring them by your hips, and then together, inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, lower. 4 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Curl higher. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower, curl up. Your shoulders are not in your ears, are they? Pull them down away from those ears. One more time. Belly flat, no mountain abs. Pull them in, and then relax. Whew. Okay. Hopefully you're nice and warmed up now. So let's get moving a little more vigorously. Okay. I'm going to grab my stick, my dowel, for balance. You don't need it. You could just use a chair, a wall, or just work your balance. I'm going to show you how to use this if you would like to have a little extra help. So we're going to do a little bit of a Bulgarian squat with an emphasis on stretching your hip flexors. And then we're going to transition to a couch stretch. So find your foot on something behind you. I don't care how your foot is. And lean forward a little bit. When you're leaning forward, take a moment, lengthen the lower back, pull your abs in and up to create a bit of a hollow body position. Keep that muscle engagement. Keep curling the pelvis under to bring your torso more upright. If your back arches and you stick your butt out, start over, don't go so far. Curl, lift, become as upright as your body can. All right, keep that lift. You're going to slowly lower to the floor, bending the back knee. Find a nice stretch. All right, you're going to come forward, hollow more, and stand up with the front leg. Once you're up, reset. Curl your pelvis under, lift your core. 5 counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round forward, hollow, and bring your body up and tuck. Repeat. Down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time, guys. We're going to go all the way to the floor. So you may need to adjust your position. If you're going to watch and then join me after, feel free. curl, lift that core, come all the way down. So if you're on a high box, you may need to make this into 2 steps. Come all the way down and float your knee to the floor. Or just step away, come on down into this couch stretch. You can put your foot on a wall, on your couch, whatever you can find that's comfortable. Okay, so lean forward, hollow your core, lift your abs, and then keep your core pulled in and then press your hips back towards your heels to get a quad hip flexor stretch. I'm gonna get rid of my stick, but you can feel free to use it. Press your hands into your thighs if you don't need the stick for balance. And as you push into your leg, imagine you're sort of doing a little bit of a crunch motion to help get more abs. Oop, turn my camera back on. Give me a second. Just stay stretching. It's good for you. For some reason, my GoPro just pops off every once in a while. For no good reason. Okay, we're back. Okay. So you're still pulling your core in, pushing back. Now from here, keep your core lifted. Lift the arms overhead. Nothing from your ribs down changes. Just find that length. If you can keep this all solid, feel free to then pull the ribs back a little bit more to get more hip flexor stretch, maybe more quad stretch. Ooh. All right. Tuck your pelvis, push your hips forward. From here, wiggle your front foot out a full step length and keep driving your hips forward. All right, at no point do you get to relax. There's no relax. If you need to relax, come on out and then reset. I'm gonna keep tucking the pelvis, lifting the core. Now, I'm gonna grab my 8-pound weight here. If this feels hard to control, just grab your dowel or a yoga block, just something to hold in your hands. And if your shoulders are really stiff, you're definitely gonna wanna go with the stick option so you can choose a wider hand position. The weight, I'm gonna demonstrate because it's way harder, but just because it's harder doesn't mean that you should do it. So lift your core, push your hips forward, arms reach up to the ceiling. Number 1, focus on lifting through your spine, push your hips forward, keep pulling that core in, and then add a gentle overhead reach. Think of that pull over we did earlier when you pull the arms up again. Reach back, try to breathe, open your chest. Exhale, use your core, pull yourself back up. 3 more. Oh, I'm sweating. Arch. And then pull your core in, return. 2 more. Inhale back. Exhale, return. 1 more time. Back. And up. Whew. Okay. So now I'm going to keep wiggling that front foot out a little farther so that I can lean forward enough that I can lift my foot off of the bench. As you lift, pelvis stays curled. Tuck. So here we go. Lift your foot off your wall, chair, couch. If you're hamstring cramps, just roll on the floor, straighten your leg, and engage your quad like crazy, and that hamstring cramp will hopefully dissipate. All right, place it on the bench. Curl your pelvis. Can you push yourself back up a little higher to get a stretch? Okay, we'll do that 2 more times. Each time, if possible, make it harder, meaning try to lift your foot off the bench without having to lean your body so far forward. So at what point can you lift your foot off? Can you see it's lifted? And then relax. Make it easier if you need to, make it harder if you need to, or just stay where you're at. Good. Curl, lift your core. Try to lift off that foot. Hold 3, 2, 1, and then give me one more, more relaxed, deep stretch. I'm not going to say like completely relax your muscles, but finally allow yourself to kind of just sink into it with less muscle tension. Ah, all right, feels so good. Stand up, wiggle your body out, and see how that side feels compared to the other side. It feels like one leg's like so much longer than the other leg. Okay, side two, guys. Whew. Okay, so grab your stick or something for balance. We get back to those Bulgarian squats on the first side. This is a long sequence, wasn't it? Okay, curl your core in, tuck your pelvis, find that hollow body as you bring your body upright. I'd rather you keep hollow than come all the way up. 5 counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hollow forward, stand up on the top, on the front leg. Curl under, abs in. Sink down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hollow forward, come back up, reset. Drop that lower back, elongate through your lower back into your pelvis. Lift the front abs. Down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time when I go into the couch stretch. So if you need to get into it a different way, feel free. Curl your abs in, sink down, or just transition to whatever setup works in your space. Okay, couch stretch. So start by leaning forward with your torso, hollow your abs, lengthen your lower back, tuck your pelvis, and then lift your core, push your hips back to get into your quad stretch. Hold and breathe. Hang out here. Whew. So let's talk about how to make this position as good as possible. So you got to keep that core working. You got to breathe. Those are the top 2 things. From there, you can adjust your hip alignment a bit. Think of maybe dropping the hip of your front leg and lifting the hip of the stretching side. Play around with maybe trying to square more, which means push the hip of the stretching side a bit forward and try to tuck it under more. To help that, if you think of driving back through the front leg, try to push that hip closer to the bench, then it's going to help square your hips. Yeah, how does that feel? All right, keep lifting through your abs, arms up. Whew. If you're against a wall, you can even lean back against the wall. Pull your ribs in though, so you're going to pull your rib cage back over and past your hips more to keep opening up the front of your pelvis. All right, take one more deep breath in. And then walk your front forward a full step forward. Keep that tuck, that nice stretch that you've created, that you've been working really hard for, and press your hips forward. Get more of a hip flexor stretch. I'm going to grab my 8-pound weight. Feel free to grab a stick or any other object. The true purpose is just to keep your arms at a set distance, but a weight, a reasonable weight, nothing crazy, will definitely make it harder. You should never feel like your lower back is crunching or feeling compressed. If you feel that, back off for sure. Tuck your pelvis, lift your core. Reach long and away to the ceiling. And as you keep tucking your pelvis down and forward, at a little back arch, lift your chest. Exhale up with your core. Inhale back. Exhale up. Feels amazing. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. One more time. Inhale back. Exhale up. Whew. How'd you do? Next, let's work on lifting the foot off the bench. So I'm going to come forward a little bit until I can lift it off. Hold 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's make it a little bit harder. Lift your hips up, push towards the bench. Whew. Let me use my weight for a little balance. Can you lift off here? If not, just keep pushing yourself forward until it's possible. Again, if your hamstring cramps, just roll out of it, straighten your leg, squeeze your quad really hard. So anytime you engage the opposite muscle, the muscle that's cramping will relax. Okay, relax. Find that stretch again. If you think you're up for it, make it harder. Push your hips closer to the wall. And then try to lift off. Look, no touching, space, air. 3, 2, 1. And then wiggle your front foot farther forward if you can. If you have the space in your hip flexor, and just sink down into a nice long hip flexor stretch. At no point are the abs 100% relaxed, but they're definitely not like pulling crazy hard into a hollow body. Just allowing my spine to gently elongate with support. If you want, add that one more long reach through your spine, overhead stretch. Whew. All right, we'll go on out of there. Let's give our lower back a little bit of break by sitting into a child's pose. Let's take 3 good breaths here. Send your breath into your lower back. Okay, I'm gonna do a lower back cat-cow. It's a little weird, so you definitely just watch me to get the setup and then join in. I'm gonna put the top of your head on the ground like you're gonna do a forearm stand. I know, I'm sure you do that every day, right? Okay, head on the ground, round your spine up and over, and then with your lower back, the best you can, do a cat-cow. It's like a twerking motion with your hips. So much smaller, right? But do your best. A little lower back cat-cow. The more you round up and over, the more challenging it will be. All right, that was weird. Come on out. Grab your stick, dowel, PVC pipe, whatever you got. And let's do a little more thoracic extension. So I'm going to hold maybe shoulder width apart or so. Find something that's comfy for you. And then place your elbows on whatever surface you have available. From here, I'm going to start with my arms relatively elongated. It doesn't have to be super straight, but just not crazy bent. And then walk back until you feel like you can press your chest down. To do that, hollow your core so that you're not just sinking into your lower back. Hollow a bit and press your chest downward through your shoulders. Then bend your elbows. In this position, my elbows are slightly pressing downward, so my lats are somewhat engaged. So I don't want you to feel like your shoulders are just kind of getting like janked out of position. They should never feel crunchy or pinched. Now press your chest down. Inhale, hollow up just a little bit. Think of like floating your ribs up. Exhale, press the chest down through the shoulders. 3 more, hollow and lift. Exhale, press. Hollow and lift. Exhale, press. One last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. The abs are still slightly engaged. If you have space with your arms, try extending the arms. Maybe your chest can sink down farther. Keep it there. Bend the elbows. If that feels good, keep going, or you can just choose to stay in this spot. Lengthen the arms, sink the chest, bend the arms. One more time, lengthen, sink the chest, bend the arms. Stay here if you can. Check back in with your abs. Are they slightly engaged? Without literally moving, Just press your elbows downwards into the bench. So you're creating an isometric lat contraction. You should feel some work under your shoulders is what I'm trying to say. And then feel the intensity of that contraction, and over 5 counts, just ease off of that. So let it slowly relax. 5, 4, sink your chest down. 3, 2, and 1. All right, take one more deep breath. And then ease on out of there. Whew. How you guys feel? A little intense? Okay, let's do one more movement for your spine, but now into a twist. Okay, so come up to kneeling. I want you to squeeze your butt, the one that's with your knee on the ground. Really focus on that one. Keep it perfectly still. Lift your core up out of your pelvis. With your weight or any other object that you can grab, no big deal if it doesn't have weight, but not too heavy, I'll say, more on the light end of the spectrum, because you want your arms to be out if possible. If it's too heavy, just bring your arms in, no big deal. Without moving your pelvis now, rotate your spine and bring your arms down towards the side of your hip. Rotate your spine the other way and lift the arms up. Ooh, this 8 pounds is heavy. Okay, twist, rotate, and then twist the other way, lift the arms. Back and forth. The main emphasis here is on keeping your pelvis still. Next emphasis is on rotating your spine on the axis. So you're not bending, twisting, curling. There's no crunches here. Just a pure twist, except the arms are doing this diagonal motion. Let your eyes follow the weight, but then check in to make sure your spine isn't doing weird things. My hip is staying solid. My pelvis does not rotate. One more time. Up and up diagonal, and then twist, down diagonal. Switch sides. Oh, okay. Squeeze your glute, lift through your abs. Arms out if your weight allows for that. Rotate your spine without moving your pelvis. Rotate the other way, again, without moving your pelvis. Back and forth. Notice if your spine wants to do any weird pathways to accomplish this task. It should be a pure twist. On one side, my body's like, cool, I'll do that. On the other side, it wants to side bend a bit. 3 more. Are your hips super stable? Is your core long? Is your back long? Are you breathing? All right. How do you feel? Let's stand up. Just take a little inventory about your body. Take a breath. Notice how your feet feel on the floor. Is your pelvis feeling centered over your feet? Is your rib cage feeling centered over your pelvis? Is your head just floating up there, nice and easy? All right, let me know how you feel. If you have any questions, send me a message. If you're feeling pinchy and crunchy, I got some physical therapy for you. All right, have a good one.